صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
الرحمن
الرحمن
علم القرآن خلق الإنسان
خلق الإنسان
علمه البيان الشمس والقمر
الشمس والقمر
بحسبان
بالحسبان
والنجم
والنجم
والشجر
والشجر
يسجدان.
يسجدان.
صدق الله العظيم. Alhamdulillah. Wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Today, inshallah, we have a short class today. Just 6 ayat, okay? These are the starting ayats. This is a famous surah of the Quran. It's famous for many reasons. It's famous. People usually know Surah Yasin, and this is Surah Ar-Rahman. Everyone knows Surah Ar-Rahman. It's a famous surah. It's also known for its fasaha and balagha. Its rhetoric. Those who know Arabic language, not just the grammar, it's very beautifully. The wordings is the whole Quran is very fasih and baligh. It's very eloquent, and especially this surah is even more eloquent. There's one ayah repeated in Surah Ar-Rahman. Which ayah is it? Yeah, that's the one. فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ, which translates to which of the favors of your Lord will you deny? Right? Like, let's put ourselves in that position. Like, what right do we have? Everything is a gift around us. Right? We're sitting inside of a gift. The whole planet Earth, the whole life, each breath, everything. Which of the favors of your Lord will you deny? And then it leaves it there. It's for you to answer yourself. So it's a very famous surah. In it, one of the special things about it is that it addresses humans and jinns. That's one of the special, unique things about the surah, that it addresses humans and jinns. It goes, Ya ma'shar al-jinni wal-ins. Oh, humans and jinns. Oh, humans and jinns. That's one of the unique things about the surah. The address is to jinns and humans. Is this surah Makki or Madani? You'll see here, it's mentioned Madani. Some scholars say it's Makki. Okay, some say it's Madani. The Prophet ﷺ, one time, he recited this surah to the Sahaba, and they listened quietly. At the amazing, you can imagine Prophet ﷺ's recitation of it, and they were quiet and they didn't respond. But even the verses for the Prophet ﷺ told them that you didn't respond. You know, when it says which of the favors of your Lord will you deny? You didn't respond. He said, when I read this to the jinns, they responded. He was telling that Sahaba, it was a way of him telling them, you should have responded. You know, because you understand Arabic. And when it says, which of the favors will you deny? The jinns, he said, Prophet ﷺ said, the jinns responded by saying, La shay'a min ni'matin yukaddibu rabbana. That there's nothing of the blessings which we deny of our Lord. So he was trying. So we also learned from this thing that he said to the Sahaba, that there are certain ayats of the Quran, when these questions you should respond to. Learn what the responses are, or say your own response in your own language, and whatever you can say. Indeed, bishak, of course, indeed, or just say, to respond to it in your own way. It has a more impact. Like you just kind of like communicate with the Quran. Quran says, which of the favors of your Lord will you deny? He's not going to give you a response. He wants you to respond. So you're supposed to say, none. Which of the favors am I going to deny? None. Can we do that? Yeah. Different. So this one gets a response. Also, different other ayats of the Quran also have responses. Okay. Another ayat that has a response. Prophet ﷺ would give jawabat to ayats, and we know his jawabat of certain ayats. You can either give those ones. You can learn the ones how his response was. You can make up your own response. But you should give the response. Okay, this is encouraged to give response. Like for example, in Surah Al-Teen, it reads, "Alaysa Allahu bi ahkamil hakimin." Isn't Allah the best of the judges? Prophet's response to that was, وَنَحْنُ عَلَى ذَلِكَ مِنَ الشَّاهِدِينَ. We are witness on that. Isn't Allah the best of judges? He said, we are a witness that Allah is the best of judges. We are gawah, we are witness He's the best judge. Okay. So this is important. Everyone's understood that now? Inshallah. Allah give us tawfiq. Then the first verse, Ar-Rahman, the most merciful. Allama al-Quran, He taught the Quran. So why does it say Ar-Rahman Allama al-Quran? For all His 99 names, it could have said Khaliq, Al-Khaliq Allama al-Quran, Allah Allama al-Quran, Ar-Rahim Allama al-Quran. The especially merciful taught the Quran, the Creator taught the Quran, the Maker taught the Quran, but it says the most merciful taught the Quran. So the scholars have tried to think, why this attribute? Why is it the most merciful taught the Quran? Because this was a couple of reasons. One is that the mushrikeen didn't relate to this name. They related to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with other names, but the most merciful, they weren't familiar with that name. As it says elsewhere in the Quran, وَمَرْ Rahman. The mushrikeen would ask, who's Rahman? Because it means the all merciful. So because they never thought about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as that. Remember, they had so many gods. So they would think the all merciful? Who's this all merciful? Because they never thought of God as, like how me and you, we as Muslims, we keep Him transcendent, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is above. His qualities are so great. So for us, we know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Ar-Rahman, the all merciful. But for the mushrikeen, this was a bit strange. Therefore this was mentioned to them, the Ar-Rahman Allama al-Quran. This wasn't popular for them. Also, this could be indication that they always had a thought that, okay, these how could He give us benefit of this dunya and akhirah? But their belief, so maybe He will just benefit us in the akhirah or something. Nothing here. Because they would believe in material. They don't believe in any kind of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's assistance here in the world. But Ar-Rahman means He is the most merciful. He has mercy on you in this world and in the akhirah. And whether you're disbeliever or believer. So meaning that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will fix your dunya and He will fix your akhirah. So Ar-Rahman wa Allama al-Quran. So this most merciful, He taught the Quran. Then number 2, Allama al-Quran, He taught the Quran. We'll also learn from the second verse that who's the first teacher? Ar-Rahman wa Allama al-Quran. The most merciful taught the Quran. So originally this Quran was taught from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, taught it was a Jibreel alayhi salam. Then Hazrat Jibreel alayhi salam taught it to Prophet taught it to Sahaba Ikram taught it to Tabi'een. They taught it to Tabi'een. Then they taught it to Tabi'een. Then you just go all the way to us. You say Taba around 35, I don't know, different chains. But let's just say around 30 times. That's us. Tabi'een. But who originally taught it? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Ar-Rahman wa Allama al-Quran, the most merciful taught the Quran, and it's come down to us. This is something very, very special. The Quran is the most greatest blessing that is in ni'mah. Like we are surrounded in ni'mats, but one of the greatest blessing you have is the kalam of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with us. It says in the hadith, خَيْرُكُمْ مَنْ تَعَلَّمَ الْقُرْآنَ وَعَلَّمَ. The best of you are those who learn the Quran and teach it. The best of you are those who learn the Quran and teach it. Also another riwayah mentions, أَشْرَافُ أُمَّتِي حَمَلَةِ الْقُرْآنِ. The most honorable of my ummah are the carriers of Quran, the bearers of Quran. People who are busy with learning or teaching Quran. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us of that. And also we must value. And to remember, they have the highest value. They have the highest value, people who learn and study the Quran and teach it. In the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because it says in the hadith, Ashrafu ummati, the most honorable of my ummah, hamalatil Quran, are the bearers of Quran. The more Quran you know, that's how high your level is. And even from an academic point of view, even among scholars, because the barakah, Quran is the powerhouse of all the barakah. Anybody who's more connected to the Quran, naturally he's the winner. He's ahead. Whoever has more connection to the Quran, he's ahead. Whoever does more tilawah, he's ahead. We look at our asla, the ones who are very, very successful, they just had a higher connection to Quran. Anybody who has a higher connection to Quran, they're the winner. Even when you come here for salah, who's going to lead the salah? Besides the Imam Sahib, who's going to lead the one who knows the more? Quran. Even when you go to Jannah, the one who your rank is based, it will be told, Iqra wartaqi, recite and climb. And your station is the last verse that you recite. It's all connected to the Quran. You're judged by your connection to the Quran. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, people who teach Quran, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us to enable us to value them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us of that. Sometimes the teachers are usually often overlooked overlooked. They think, oh, he's just teaching the Quran. He's not just teaching the Quran. He's doing the greatest work possible on this earth. He's very, very blessed work. Also, we learn from this address here, the most merciful taught the Quran is that teachers who teach Quran should be merciful, because the most merciful taught the Quran. Sometimes Quran and Hifz teachers are stern, they're a bit hard, but that happens. They're a bit tough. They have to be a bit tough. But there's a lesson here that teachers should be soft. If you're teaching the Quran, because the most merciful taught the Quran. If you're a Quran teacher, then you should be soft. Yeah, that's also driven here. Then the next verse, خَلَقَ الْإِنسَانِ عَلَّمَهُ الْبَيَانِ. He created the human being and he taught the human being how to express himself. And from the third verse, what we learned is that why did it say Ar-Rahman allama al-Quran? The most merciful taught the Quran. He created the human being. It should have been human being created first, then he taught the Quran. But it's because that's the reality of it. That first Quran's guidance was prepared first, then human being was created. So that shows you that the origins of this is before even the decision, even for us, our existence. It's prior to that. Quran is more important than the human being himself. Or you could think of it that the means of your guidance was created first, then you were created. The area of your guidance was created first, Quran, and you were created afterwards. Also, you can understand this from an example. When you have guests coming, so do the guests come first, or do you make the preparations first for the guests to come? You make preparations, right? You have all your tables set. This is what they're gonna eat. They're gonna bring certified food, inshallah. And this is having a setup. This is what we're gonna invite. Everything is set. Then you say, guests, come on in. Right? So just like that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first created all the asbab of our guidance, then He created us. So that shows you the real origin of, look where the Quran stands. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq to value it. Then allamahul bayan, and we taught the human being how to express himself. Bayan. We're the only haywan, living creation, who can express his self. Other animals, they can communicate to some level with one another. They have sounds they make to recognize and what they're trying to say to one another. Animals' instincts are just survival of this earth. They don't know the purpose of life. A sheep doesn't know, like, what's the purpose, who's my creator. It's not the concerns of a sheep. It just wants to survive, live here. And they're not going to articulate their deep thoughts and tazkiyah enough, how the heart is feeling and was a good thought or bad thought. And sheep cares about all that. Sheep and animals, it's none of this, it's not their domain. They're just here to be animals. And in the akhirah, they'll be judged and they'll turn into dust. It's only the human being who can articulate himself. He can go deep. So Allah is reminding us that you should remember that. Yeah, the logicians call it, human being is haywan and natiq. They're also haywan, the animals, we're also haywan. Living thing, they're also a living thing. We're haywan and natiq. The only thing that distinguishes us, we're articulate. We express, and we have deep thought. We contemplate who created the earth. Why are we here? And we can relate to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Self-expression. So the most merciful taught the Quran. He created the human being and He has taught him how to express himself. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, this is my ni'mah too. People who become mute, how do they feel? People who become mute, who can't express themselves. It's like terrifying. It's such a huge ni'mah of Allah so that you can express yourself, what you want. So Allah has given you that ability. Then ash-shamsu wal-qamar, the sun and the moon, are bound by a fixed calculation. They are bound by a fixed shamsu wal-qamar, bound by a fixed calculation. They'll go around this orbits in fixed calculations. Nothing goes off, not even by a second. Not a second delay in whatever their functions are, whatever the orbit is. There cannot be a second delay. Even us, could there be like a second delay in our breath? I wonder, I don't know, who knows medicine here? What is that going to do? What if you skipped a heartbeat? What does that do? Anyone knows? What's a heart attack? Is that a skipped a heartbeat?
It's slow the heartbeat.
Huh? A slow one, yeah. So imagine a skipped a heartbeat. Nothing, for a second, if you didn't breathe, it'll be done. So it'll be, So everything is calculated. So in your own body is like that. And then even as so many ulama have said that you're inside your body and whatever's happening out of space, they correlate. Although the planets are there functioning, and what you inside you is a whole space in your cells and everything. There's like different, how you have orbits and galaxies so far away, so complex. Those types of complexities exist within your body as well. So you have space that way going outward, and you also have space going this way inward. And nothing is delayed by a second. So ash-shams wal-qamar bi-husban, sun and the moon calculated, everything precise calculated, which of course this is a sign of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's a sign of the creator. The only magnificent creator could create it like this. And he's created it without, it's not a game, it's not like he's serious. The creator is, yeah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned this, ash-shamsu wal-qamaru bi-husban. Also, we learn from this verse is that you can use a solar and lunar calendar. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that the moon and the sun are well calculated. So there's some hint here, indication that even the Gregorian calendar, January, February, March, is proven here. That it's a calendar. You're still calculating, you're not going off. That still makes up a year. And then the lunar, but however we know that Islamic law, the ibadats are attached to the lunar calendar, right? Your zakat. When does a child become baligh? Or by the time he became baligh? Anything pertaining to our ibadats. When is the Ramadan going to start? It's not going to start off with January, February. It's going to start off with the lunar. So our ibadats are attached to that. But the Gregorian calendar is fine. But our prayers are attached to the what? Salah. And in the salah we can calculate. In the sun we are allowed to calculate and get those timetables made and just look at that and go off of that. But whereas the moon, we're not allowed to calculate, right? We have to sight it. We can calculate just to see where it is, but then we have to sight it. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying these are all His creation, and these are signs from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they are in a great fixed calculation. Ash-shamsu wal-qamar, wal-najmu wal-shajar, and the vine and the tree both prostrate. The last ayah for today's verse. And the vine and the tree are both prostrating before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Najm also means star. Famously, people know the word najm to mean star. So najm was shajar, star and the moon, star and the tree is prostrating. But najm, when it's attached to the word tree, najm has another meaning, means vine. So the tree and the vine. I'll read this footnote here. The footnote here. The original word for vine is najm. It is commonly used for star and for a plant whose stem requires support and which climbs on a wall. Both meanings are possible here. In view of its conjunction with tree, most exegetes have taken it in the sense of vine. The total submission to Allah's command is described in the verse as their prostration. So here it's more suitable because it came next to star, and the tree doesn't go together like that. The vine and the tree goes together because the vine is connected to the tree. So they both are prostrating. And the meaning over here is that everything is in ibadah. The vine and the tree are prostrating. That's just one creation, but all of the creation is in ibadah. Some scholars have explained they're all submitting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Human being, are we submitting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Well, we have a choice. We have a choice. Humans and jinns have a choice. They're all doing it without a choice. They're just doing what Allah has designed them. An animal is acting like an animal. The moon is acting like the moon. The sun is acting like the sun. The clouds are being clouds. Is the human being acting like a human? Sometimes. It's your choice. That's the answer, right? It's your choice. So that's why man, with the highest faculties, and everything is created for us, but we're created for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They're actually created just for our enjoyment. So we just have a nice life here. Nice food, nice day. Just give us some resemblance to Jannah so we can aspire for Jannah even more. So all of the creation is in servitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, willingly or unwillingly? Unwillingly. And us? We are we have some choice. Huh? Willingly? Willingly. So they are unwillingly, we are willingly. We have a choice that if we submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we earn His pleasure. That He's given us the faculties, all the asbab of our hidayah all around us. All the proof is there for us. We have no excuses on the day of judgment. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq to submit. Also, if you look at the creation, when they say that the whole creation is in sajda, they say that every creation is in sajda. If you look at the animals, right, they're on their 4 feet, so they're in the one position. Some are just standing, some are just in prostration, some are on the ground. So they're doing all types of servitude to Allah Subhanahu. They're like where Allah Subhanahu wants them to be. But man, he does the in his salah, he does all the postures. He stands, he bows, and he also prostrates before Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. So, وَالنَّجْمُ وَالشَّجَرُ يَسْجُدَانِ. The vine and the tree, they both prostrate before Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. That's it. These are 6 verses today. Today is super short. We'll leave it there, inshallah. Next time we'll do more. Inshallah, maybe we'll cover this in 4 lectures. So this is 1, and we'll give 3 more, and then we'll finish. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله بالعالمين. سبحان الله وبحمده سبحان الله العظيم.